threats being issued now by the likes of Hasnat Abdullah, who is saying that the Seven Sisters of India will be severed.
Thank you. Well, I see this kind of speeches are absolutely the violation of the basic etiquettes of diplomacy. And this is the kind of things these people are saying in Bangladesh because this is the kind of politics they're trying to do there. Because they somehow feel that the Islamic extremists and the anti-71 elements, who are basically the pro-Pakistani elements, they tend to get very excited listening to this kind of speeches. And this is exactly they're trying to do, which is very mature, in my opinion, and really doesn't make sense.
Where do you see things going from here, Mr. Arafat? Because if anything, the protests over the last 3 days have only intensified. Do you think that this is, trying to bring India and Bangladesh on the brink?
Well, see, right after 5th August in 2024, right, something that they targeted, it, right, the Bangabandhu's residence at House 32. And after they demolished that residence, you saw that the Pakistani military intelligence chief, he made a post on his social media that he welcomed this act. And he said that it was the right thing to do because that is the residence where, in his opinion, the conspiracy to break up Pakistan was conceived. So you understand what this kind of people are and what they're trying to target. It's not only the residents of Bangabandhu at 32, but also any other structures or symbols of 1971, anything of liberation that they go and target. Because, a particular segment of people, their predecessor, they also collaborated with the Pakistani army and basically stood against the liberation of Bangladesh. And they contributed to the killings of 3 million people and all that. So their predecessor, they basically eventually had to, concede the defeat and they surrendered, right? So there, this heir, of this generation, basically ideological heir, they still cannot accept the defeat. So it's in their, the seeds are in their core that pro-Pakistani and the Islamic extremism and all that. All the radical elements, the radical groups in Bangladesh, they're basically pro-Pakistani. And they try to see the relationship with India through the lens of the Pakistani military establishment. As simple as that. They don't want to see India as a country or a neighboring country. And then we can see how, we can develop our relationship through cooperation and collaboration. And to get the outcome of the friendship for the best benefit of the people of both the country. That's not how they say it. They want to see India not as a country, but as an enemy country from the very outset.
Absolutely.
Therefore, even to think about having a relationship, a good, positive relationship with India is kind of a, anti-Bangladesh activity for them.
And all of this is being done deliberately, Aditya. The shooting of a politician there, India being dragged in with absolutely no evidence that there is any involvement of India in what has happened in Bangladesh, in Dhaka. Then you've had a number of these so-called student protesters, people like Nahid Aslam, people like Hasnat Abdullah. They were supposed to be the young revolutionaries, and this is what they are.
The young revolutionaries haven't done this only over the last 72 hours, Padmaja. This is a very carefully studied plan. It's a modus operandi. I do not know who is behind this. There were reports doing rounds in the Russian media and the Bangladeshi media that there is an American effort for Takhta Palti in Bangladesh that has happened. Today, it almost seems that Muhammad Yunus is either a puppet of Pakistan or he's a puppet of Jamaat-e-Islami, because the kind of open ground that the radical elements have been given. Now, what happened, Padmaja, in August last year? The primary target was Awami League. We had the former minister here. The primary target was Sheikh Hasina and, of course, Dhanmondi 32. But immediately after that, the first target became India. How? They targeted the Indira Gandhi Cultural Center. The entire building was gutted. And that was the beginning of the tirade that began from the so-called students' movement. So the reality of the day today is that radical elements are, going all guns blazing against India, and Mohammad Yunus is comfortably sitting in his palace and not doing anything. If he is a democratic leader, if he is a leader of the grassroots movement, why isn't he putting a leash on these elements and saying that this cannot be tolerated? One is a grievance that they have, that Sheikh Hasina is in New Delhi and India has given a cover to Sheikh Hasina, etc. That's okay. But the reality of the day is that India has been the closest partner of Bangladesh for decades together.
No, and I think it is quite clear to everyone watching right now, perhaps barring America, that Mr. Yunus is only working on the instructions of these so-called student protesters turned radicals turned Jamaat fronts. Muqtadir Rashid.
I think there are some proxy of Jamaat working along the Dr. Yunus government. They are very much connected with the Jamaat ideology. They are former Islamic Chhatra Shibir guys who are the APS or the personnel officer of those advisors. They are guiding these advisors to take any kind of actions or making any decisions. So that's a very alarming for future. Especially they are in the mode that they wanted to put Jamaat Islami in next power. So we are really hoping for the fair election, but we don't know.
Absolutely. In fact, that is the question I wanted to ask Mr. Arafat next. How do we even know that there is going to be any fair election? This seems to be only a build-up to foisting Jamaat-e-Islami on all of Bangladesh in the garb of we did elections. Mr. Arafat.
I mean, what kind of fair election you are talking about? The election that Yunus is going ahead with, I mean, it is an one-sided election. It's going to be a one-sided election. One of the major parties, Awami League, has been banned. And all of the other allies, like the 14-party alliance members or the smaller parties, progressive parties, like even Jatiya parties also has been sidelined. So without having all of these parties together, you just look at the vote banks of these parties. Historically, the elections which have been accepted worldwide, if you just take a look at that, if not all the elections, if you take a look at only the elections that have which have been accepted, look at the vote banks, then you will find out that you are actually disenfranchising most of the people, many of the people there. So during the Awami League tenure, many of the elections where BNP did not come and participate, and therefore the elections were highly criticized. I mean, and I agree that those elections, some of the elections were not actually participated because BNP being one of the major party did not come. So you can blame Awami League for BNP not coming or blame BNP for not coming, or there can be many other analysis for that, right? But still the elections were not highly participatory because of the absence of BNP, right? If that was wrong, then how can you just forcefully exclude Awami League, not giving them even a chance for them to decide whether to come or not? You're banning a party and calling the upcoming election is an election. Election is a contest. It's a choice.
Yeah.
It is not even, there's no fair, nothing fair about that election at all. I mean, the people